Are you feeling really hopeless and helpless in America right now? Then this is for you. Whether you are thrilled about what's happening at our federal level in politics or you are wildly upset about it, and I'd say we're all not very happy about it, right? No one is thrilled about how everything is going right now. What can you do? I think we've stood back and expressed our concerns long enough, right? In this last week and a half, we've seen a presidential debate, many Supreme Court decisions, and people have a ton of feelings. And everybody is feeling really overwhelmed, frustrated, disappointed, helpless. Some people are worried we're going to lose our democracy. Here's the truth: half of our country feels very strongly on both sides. So this isn't a situation where we can just say, oh, that's a really small group of people who think this way or that way. This is something we have to work together to get through. And what I'm finding when I'm talking with my clients is that it is completely overwhelming their ability to work on their goals. It is completely having them question what their purpose is. And it's really destabilizing families and homes. So I'm going to give you 10 suggestions that are things you can do that can make a difference. And I'm going to do them too. And the first and maybe the most important thing is to educate yourself from a reputable source. And I'm going to be really clear right now that I would say Fox News and CNN do not count as reputable sources in 2024. The things that I have seen on many channels are extremely partisan. So, regardless of where you stand, what we need to do is find a source. I recommend Sharon Says So. She's part of the governors. And our goal is to look at how our country was actually supposed to work and how it does work and what the laws reflect. And so, find a credible source and get educated if there's an issue that really prompts you. Learn about different perspectives on that issue. Engage in diverse viewpoints and learn to foster empathy. Learn to understand why this person who is so opposite to you might think opposite to you. This is a key element of what I see as missing. I'm seeing people saying they can't even tolerate being in a room with someone who is on the other side of this discussion with them. And that's not who we are as a country. We were founded on the ideal that everyone should have freedom. And so fight for that freedom, but definitely don't dismiss your friends who are doing what they believe is the same thing, right? The second thing is you've got to engage in constructive dialogue. So to do this, the first thing I have to do as a chatterbox is to practice active listening. I've got to really listen to others without thinking about what I'm going to say. I listen to understand, because honestly, I don't understand. It is way out of my understanding. And so I am working hard to listen and hear what the values, interests, and perspectives are of the people that think differently than I do. It's also critical that these conversations be respectful. There is nothing good that's going to come from degrading people. There is nothing good that is going to come from insulting people. And if we were in any other work in our life, we would know this, right? Like you would never in work call somebody in and go, listen, we got to let you go because you are really annoying. It's like you're stupid and we don't even get what you're doing. We think what you're doing is bad for the workplace. So you just have to shut up and go home. No, there are laws against that, right? And why? Because we agree to a code of conduct. I encourage you to grab a code of conduct for yourself, right? If you don't already have a list of things that are things you believe in, things that you have really strong morals and ethics around, I want to say having respectful conversations with people who disagree with you about politics is a great place to start. I would also say to get involved in your community, right? We've got to start getting involved so that we can make a difference. You can volunteer, you can participate in the local community service project to make a tangible difference. Let's say that there's an issue that is really hitting you hard and you don't understand how funding could be threatened for this or funding could be going to that. Go volunteer with agencies that think like you and take action and get things done. So it's not just you sitting at home frustrated. Next would be joining local groups, right? Engaging with community organizational groups that align with your values and work towards common goals, right? If you believe in a certain policy, work with a group of people to get that policy enacted where you live. It's really fun. Then look for a supportive, positive change. This is really important because if you're looking for change, like let's go break something change, that's not really going to get you very far. It never has. But if you're looking to support positive change, you're looking at being an advocate, right? You're supporting policies and candidates that reflect your values. You're getting involved in campaigns. You're advocating for issues you care about. Maybe you're doing that with money. Maybe you're doing that with time. Maybe you're canvassing. Maybe you're answering phones for the campaign. Whatever it is, get involved with the issues that mean something to you. And I think it's also important to foster connections, right? We want to build relationships. We want to strengthen connections with our neighbors, with our friends, because strong social networks can really provide and foster positive sense of community, right? A lot of people agree on a lot of things that our politics and our media want to take from us. But the more you're belly to belly with people, the more you're going to see that you actually aren't as far away as you think you are. You want to create safe spaces when you're doing this, right? You want to encourage open and safe discussions so that people can share their thoughts and feelings. This does not include hatred. This does not include any ad hominem attacks, right? Oh, I hate his hair. I hate his age. Nope, none of that allowed. I'm really concerned about this policy because I feel strongly about this issue. And so I'd like to find a place where I could do something about this policy. What do you think about that? Right? Open, honest, safe communication. Next is you've got to practice self care. I'm seeing people being really distraught about this. And while I'm personally also quite upset, I've joined the governors. I'm doing the things that I'm discussing here with you. But if you have a mindfulness practice and a meditation practice, that's going to really support your mental health across the board. If you're the type of person that has an event, or whether it's within your world or kind of external to you, and it just spins you loose for a while, this is where you need to live for a little bit. Manifestation, mindfulness, meditation can really change how you react to things. And the key in doing that is going to be pausing. It's really easy when we hear something or we're in a discussion with someone to come right back out. But taking a pause for yourself, taking a break, thinking about remembering who you are, saying, I'm not the type of person who attacks people for how they look. That's ridiculous. I might have even inherently, accidentally, stupidly done that as a child. I'm not doing that as an adult. So get back to who you really are. Physical activity can really help. I've never been a huge fan of this until my 50s, and I have found that physical activity has helped my mental health tremendously, especially when I'm feeling anxious. Going for a walk, being in nature, getting my steps in makes a really big deal. As someone who's older, I gotta lift weights, and man, it's hard to focus on anything else when I'm trying to keep my form and lift my weights. I would also say to limit your media consumption. If you are doom scrolling, if you're watching one of those 24-hour news channels and you're getting more and more upset, turn the channel. Best turn it off. May I suggest grabbing a book? Oh my gosh, there's so many good books out there, and make it a fun book. Don't pick up that book that you've been meaning to read about the thing you're trying to improve on unless that really gets you excited, right? Get something to read that you've been dying to read. Buy it if you need to. Make one of your favorite authors, like get a whole series, and get a place where you can relax and escape that's not digital. Seventh would be to promote civic activity. This means to make sure that you vote. If what's happening in the world is driving you crazy, you've absolutely got to vote, because you ensure that you and those around you, you get to make that happen. You can make sure everybody's registered. You can be sure that everyone understands where they vote. That's often an issue, and what they need to vote. You can attend town halls and local events where politicians are going to be explaining their positions on issues. And maybe at first you just want to listen, but it's a great place to be heard. Eighth is going to be to encourage empathy and compassion, not just in yourself, but with others. So engage in exercises that promote empathy. This includes volunteering. This could be simply practicing listening to other people. But if you're feeling super hot and reactionary, digging into your empathy is going to help you. Take that pause and give yourself a moment. I then recommend random acts of kindness. You would be amazed how much can lift your spirit and someone else's spirit. One of my favorite ways to do this is just to compliment someone. I love your shirt. I love your dress. I love your jewelry. Makes a big difference. Everybody always cracks a smile. Maybe you're shopping at some place like Kroger that has a little bouquet of flowers. Buy a bouquet of flowers and give it to someone. Think of a friend who's having a hard time and drop them a note, but practice random acts of kindness. It'll be as good for you as it is for the people that you're being kind to. Ninth, I would say you need to educate and empower yourself and others. So, workshops and seminars, mentorships, right? I have the midlife mentorship, and the actual content in there has shifted based on these last few weeks. We are doing a 30-day challenge, and it was going to be push, 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 push. And I implemented some real rest days and some real reflection days when people started having a real challenge with current events, because that's what's needed. I would also say to focus on long term goals. Think about what the long term goal is for you. For people that I'm working with, it includes taking control of their health, it includes advancing in relationships and creating long term bonding one on one relationships. It includes repairing family estrangement. Now, are you going to be remembering 10 years from now the crazy week in 2024, or will you be celebrating that your family is united, that your goals have been reached, that you found your life partner, that you're healthier than ever, that you're sleeping great, right? Think about both your short term and your long term goals and let that be where your focus rests. Because I'm telling you, these distractions are deadly to your momentum. And the things that stop us as we move towards our goals are standing between us and the life that we are meant to live. If you are truly passionate about everything that's been happening, the best way to get in the game is to implement these suggestions. Because I'm telling you right now, we are better than this. We are better than this week. The United States is an amazing country founded on the concept of freedom, and we can come together. I believe that in my bones. And what I'm going to ask you to do is stretch yourself to make that happen. And I promise that I'll do the same. I pledge allegiance to it, in fact. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am sending you so much love and support. No matter how you're feeling this week about our country, I know everyone is feeling a little tenterhook. So hang in there and let's see what we can make happen by implementing these suggestions.